Jessica, I think you'll be opening the meeting.
No, Charlie's right here. He's right here. I see him. I saw him.
Yeah, I just saw him too.
He might have had somebody walk in.
If he doesn't have, oh, you could have internet, maybe. Oh no, he's still on. Charlie's here. He's muted.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's not at his desk, so he might have a customer.
Well, we are live, I'm assuming, so I think it would only be right.
Yep.
Call the meeting to order.
Sounds good.
At 12:04 on this Wednesday afternoon. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, please. To the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Okay, so, I have a massive volume back. Discussion item. MOA certified staff.
Yeah.
So that
do you want to take it, Jess, or do you want?
Yeah, you want to take it together?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Uh-huh.
So we have been meeting with a group of the teachers union as well as administration on this MOA, and I'm hoping everybody has had a chance to look it over. And Charlie is back, so Charlie, we just did the Pledge of Allegiance. That's all we did without you. Moment of silence. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So we met and discussed this MOA. I just want to make sure that this whole committee has had a chance to read it. The school committee. Yes. Okay, because it's very important. We went over it numerous times. Asked a lot of questions with not only the union, but with Ben, who is here today. So Joel, take it from here.
Yeah, sure. You know, obviously we're in a situation with COVID and just overall, you know, it's an annual thing, right? There, we're always looking at our operating expenses and trying to find ways to you know, reduce our costs in certain areas so that we can reapply, you know, funds in a more effective way. And I say that respectfully, considering the topic that we're discussing. So it's been known that in East Providence we are very top heavy when it comes to the steps for teacher salaries, and we have a lot of very tenured teachers, and quite frankly, a lot of them would, based on feedback that I receive, and I think all of us on this call receive, would love to enjoy their retirement, but thanks to pension decisions of the past and other matters, you know, it just hasn't been something that financially made sense to them. So Jessica and I met with superintendent and the team and Ben and Craig and said, okay, you know, maybe we can do something where we can do an MOA that provides a one-time offer to kind of an incentive that will help folks bridge the gap, whatever that gap may be for that individual, that is restricting them in their mind from enjoying their retirement. And by doing so, we could save quite a bit of money on our salary component of our expenses, and shift and apply those funds someplace else. And again, trying to be cautious with the COVID situation, but overall long term, just improve that component of our expenses. And I can't remember, I don't want to misquote Craig. I'll have you unmute if you can, or Craig or Cheryl. What's the percentage of our teachers that are on top step right now?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Oh, so the 500 certified staff, we have about almost 400 that are going to be on top step.
Mm-hmm. And there are times, you know, when we hire people from the outside, we've never been a district that have looked at people based on where they are in step. We've looked at what they have to offer and always look for the best teacher. So even in our hiring, you know, there are times, you know, we hire right at the top step.
So, right. So you're looking at, you know, basically 80% of our certified are at top step.
I would
and
say
again,
that's
right.
accurate.
And I think it's a fair statement to say that it's not because they all want to continue. They love their profession, but they've also looked forward to retirement. And I think you know, Karen and I have had some conversations, right? So we know that there are plenty that have been kind of pushed to continue coming to work every day longer than they would prefer, and they'd like to enjoy their families and so forth. So that's the goal of this MOA, is to basically create a few different incentives that would help those folks bridge that gap and address the hurdle that they find is stopping them from taking that retirement. And the intention of the way the MOA is structured, and again, if I misquote, someone speak, but we're looking for a notification from a teacher looking to take advantage of this MOA offer by the end of August, and their retirement would be this calendar year by December 31st. So again, if someone maybe qualifies for retirement in October, November, they would still notify us so that we can plan accordingly from a staffing standpoint and so forth. So if I missed anything, Jessica, Kathy, or
the only thing that I really want to say is, you know, when doing this, I don't want anyone to feel as though this is an offer. It's just an offer. I know I was schooled, as I may say, to learn, you know, the 2008, 2009, I wasn't around. I know that some people are working longer than they anticipated. And this is an option for those people. It is in no way something that, in my opinion, they have to take. It is just an option that we're putting on the table. And that's pretty much what I would like to say. It's not going to be an easy year for anybody. And I guess that's about it.
Yeah, and I would say that even absent COVID, if I take COVID out of this equation, I would entertain this, you know, being at 80% top step.
Yeah.
You know, I would entertain a move like this for those folks. Like you said, it's a win-win, you know, to listen to folks that really care about the integrity of their job, but will tell you, I wish I was able to retire today. You know, that's that's unfortunate. I mean, folks put in decades of work, and in this case, if we can again remove some of those hurdles, and at the same time reduce costs, then it's a win-win for both parties. So,
and this was not just done by administration. We did have a lot of talk with the teachers union, and I would like to make that clear that that was important for me. I think it was important for Joel. I think it was important for the administration to hear how this would go over. And when Joel says decades of teachers, I mean, we have so many teachers that have put years and years and years and years into our district. And for that, I'd like to thank them. And I say years, the numbers are unbelievable.
Jessica,
Yes.
can I just say that for myself personally, I made life choices early in my career about my retirement, and I chose to return to work soon after having my daughter, rather than take time off then, because I made a life choice that later in life I would be able to perhaps help her babysit and raise children, and that was taken away from me. So I gave up something for a reason, and then with the changes, it became moot. It was irrelevant what I had done. I also had purchased, I worked at a parochial school for 4 years, and I purchased those years because when our retirement allowed us, it was a combination of the number of years and not an age. It was just a years. So by purchasing those years, it brought me closer to retirement at a younger age. And when they changed the age requirement, that was wasted money as well, because it didn't matter how many years I had. So there were a lot of negatives. And I know there are other teachers that also made choices based on what we thought was a contracted pension. And it wasn't. So I'd be curious to see how many people are ready to go.
And I will just say that other districts are doing the same thing this year. I know Middletown, I know Lincoln is, and several other districts are also, because every district finds himself with so many teachers on the top step and very few openings on the lower end of the scale for new people coming out. And they know that some people, like everyone expressed, would consider retiring with a little incentive attached to it. So sure. I'm just going to let you know that we're not the only one considering this plan this year, coupled with COVID.
I have a question or two. Jessica and Joel, did you send out the MOA?
You're on mute, Joel.
I did not send it out.
I have not received the MOA, Jessica. Okay, just so you know.
So can we review that then? If it was missed, I mean it's pretty brief. So
yeah,
if Craig or
do you want me to share my screen, or Ben, you want to share your screen?
I apologize. That's why I asked the question up front. If everyone has it.
I'll go through it. And then, no, I have not received the MOA.
Yeah, we should definitely review it.
And then I'll go through the terms in section 2, and then you can go through the finance piece.
Okay, so hang on, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
And Charlie, Alfred, I just checked. I didn't receive it neither. So I apologize for that, Jess, as you were asking. I was looking through it because I didn't remember, reviewing it, but I just checked. I didn't receive it at all. Who was supposed to send that out to us?
Yeah, I don't know. That might have been. I'll take the heat on that. I don't know who was supposed to send it out, but I know being one of the members of the team, I don't mind taking the.
And
Well,
I
I
said
thi-
I had reviewed it, but I think it was reviewing it with Joel on the phone. I don't think I read it.
So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do also right now is I'm going to send it to all of you anyway, so you have a hard copy. I apologize. That's why I asked that first question today when we started, because I
Okay.
think it was important that all of you read through it, but now we're gonna read through it together one by one. And every line that we should read together, because that's what we did as a subcommittee. And that's how we came to this final document.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready, go for it.
Ready?
Okay. So the first provision, paragraph numbered 1, simply states that this applies at this point to certified personnel who are retiring up to December 31st, 2020. Additionally, if people who intend to retire are required to give the superintendent notice in order to take advantage under this MOA on or before August 31st, 2020, which will give us opportunity to plan and, if necessary, hire people. We also felt that we'd be able to capture more people who may be wavering as the school started. So we thought that it would be December 31st would be a good date to capture as many people that thought they would like to retire early or retire if they're qualified as well, and still have an impact on the budget for the upcoming school year. The second numbered paragraph provides for 3 options.
No, but I can't talk.
Can you all hear me? Okay.
I'm sorry.
The second paragraph provides for 3 options. So a qualified retiree would only pick one of the 3, not all 3. Okay. So with respect to the first one, it's enhanced healthcare benefits. So someone who retires under this MOA who's otherwise eligible for post-retirement healthcare would receive 2 years of single coverage with no payment of a cost share, or 1 year of coverage with no payment of the cost share. So under the collective bargaining agreement now, there's a provision that there is a contribution that a retiree would have to pay towards cost share for post-retirement benefits. Those would be eliminated. The coverage would be up until age 65, which is provided in Article 5, Section 5.1 and 5.5 of the collective bargaining agreement. So that the benefit for someone who takes that option would be that they don't have to pay the cost share that they would otherwise have to pay for a full family plan or full individual plan. That plan would be similar to what the district's plan is, and those plans are being offered now at a cost share cost to retirees. The second plan, second option would be enhancement of sick days. So under that provision, what we did is we set a floor and a ceiling. So as long as you had some sick days, you'd receive a minimum payment of $5,000, and the maximum that you would receive would be $1,250. Under the contract right now, the maximum that you receive would be $7,500. So if you're able to retire without sick days, or with very few, you would qualify to receive a $5,000 payment under this section, under the sick day section. And if you had the maximum number of days, you get an additional $2,000 as a benefit. And keeping in mind, again, you only get one of the 3 options. The third group we thought of would be people who are post 65, but are still teaching. With respect to those people, we sat down and we thought, what could we offer them that would be a meaningful benefit if they retired? Because under the prior provision, under the healthcare provision, they don't receive post-employment retirement benefits if they're over 65. They get just Medicare. So Craig did some research on that, and he contacted the trust, and the trust offers a Medicare supplemental policy, which costs, I believe, Craig, about $4,400 a year for an individual, approximately $4,400 a year. And those of you that are on Medicare now that have supplemental coverage, you know what that is. That's an extra insurance that sits on top of your Medicare benefit that basically brings you up to one of the standard Blue Cross plans. In this case, it's the Blue Cross Blue Chip plan. It's a pretty robust plan. Actually, my parents, who one of them is in his 90s, has this plan, and he likes it and it works. The benefit of this particular provision is we can define the amount of claims impact, which will just be the premium, $4,400 a person. And additionally, if people file claims under that insurance policy, that claims experience goes to Medicare and it goes to Blue Cross. The district is not subjected to that experience, so it will not increase our potential premium costs going forward under the trust plan. So we thought that might entice some retirees who are post 65, who then would qualify for this supplemental coverage for a couple of years. One curlicue about the supplemental insurance is there's no family plan. So we provide, in the case it's a retiree and a spouse, and they take the 1-year option, we would give a single plan to the spouse, a single plan to the qualified retiree, which is the same cost, obviously, as giving a 2-year policy just to the retiree if a retiree doesn't have a spouse. We thought with respect to all those options, we might be able to entice some people who are on the fence, especially given what's happening this year, to be able to pull the trigger and decide to retire. That's it. So it's pretty simple. Anybody have any questions?
Craig, do you have the financial piece?
Yep, I was just going to pull that up next on my screen. Hang on.
And that should have been sent today. Everyone should have got that copy as well.
Yeah, that was my fault. Jessica didn't have power and all that stuff.
Yeah, but we got it this morning.
So anyways, so let me just review this. So up at the top of the screen, so the enhanced sick day payout. Actually, what I should do is start with the middle part here. So just to review the current contract provisions. So this includes a sick day payout of $75 per day, up to $100, up to 100 days for a maximum of $7,500. Then it's healthcare, family healthcare plan for 1 year with a 20% copay, or a healthcare individual plan for 2 years with a 20% copay. So up at the top, I tried to break it down in terms of what the employee would get from money in their pocket. So with the enhanced sick days going up to $125 per day for up to 100 days, that would bring them up to $12,500. That would mean an extra $5,000 in their pocket. To follow that down with the family, 1 year of a family plan, if we were to absorb that cost, the worth of that incentive is $23,414, and money in the pocket for the employee would be $4,683. And then the same for the individual plan. That worth of that incentive is about $17,122. And then the money in the pocket for the individual would be $3,424. As Ben had mentioned, the Medicare, the blue chip offering, so that covers the gaps in between Part A and Part B. There's a very nice prescription copay program that goes with this, and there's also a dental component that is included as part of it as well. So if we were to absorb that for the individual and the spouse, that's around $87.86 in terms of money in the pocket for the employee. Okay. Any questions? And
Craig,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I was just going to mention, So the one thing that just to inform everyone, because we did talk about it. So because the current contract provisions are still in place, so a person, as an example, they could say, well, I've got the maximum days. So at this point, I'm going to go for the maximum payout and get the extra five grand in my pocket. But I could do, under the current contract, I could still do family health care for 1 year and do my 20% co-pay. So just want to be clear that the current contract provisions are still in place,
Right.
but you can choose from one of the options up above and still take their current contract provision.
I have a question pertaining to this plan. If someone, let's just say someone's going to retire and they have like 5 sick days left. Was I understanding this correctly that they would get that $5,000 incentive for sick time? Yes. Okay.
That's our floor. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
And that would be their only option to take, because they wouldn't have the other from the existing contract. They would be opting to take that offer as opposed to what they're entitled to per the contract. Correct, Craig?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to add, just for a frame of reference, when we looked at it, for public information as well, to understand what we're looking at, is top step to first step when you factor in, pension contributions and so forth. I think, Craig, we said we're somewhere around $30,000 a year per position, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So just so that's at a minimum, and for any top step employee that was to take advantage of this component being that position being filled by a new incoming teacher, we'd be looking at a baseline of $30,000 savings. So when you look at this one-time cost that might be spread out, the 2-year option, again, it's a spread out payment. But then once we get past that 1 or 2 years, depending on what they take, where again our operating expenses for salary will be significantly reduced for that position. So the exposure on this one is nil to the school department, but the opportunity to the school department and the employee is all upside from the way I look at the numbers. And then obviously there are other benefits I think that come into play, but
So if I'm to understand, is this is just a piece of the negotiation?
no. So Charlie, so just like the other bargaining units in the school department, we're foregoing the contract negotiations, the full contract negotiations due to COVID, right? So everyone's pretty much bumped out a year. Hence why this is just an MOA, a memorandum of agreement, an accessory to the existing contract. So as Craig said, so the existing contract still holds for anybody, but for this brief period of time to achieve a goal that we're trying to achieve, this would be an amendment to the current contract, which is still being extended out a year, just like the other bargaining units are. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it answers my question.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we're expecting X number of people to take advantage of the program, correct?
Honestly, I mean, so since Justin, unless you've heard, we went off of the list that we know the number of folks that fall into the category. but there was no, it wouldn't have been appropriate for us to go and kind of poll the employees and say,
No.
hey, would you take this? Would you take this? And we didn't want to, you know, in working with union leadership, didn't want to, you know, go and start throwing it out there, and then all of a sudden you create this buzz, and then maybe it just never happens because. So no,
So I guess that's what my question is. When you've discussed this, have you discussed this with union leadership?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were intimately involved in
They
this,
were very,
all of these points.
So they are receptive to this?
Very.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they went back to their board and they've met with the board and they've discussed it. Yes.
But can I just say something? If you remember that we asked if everybody would extend contracts for a year, this particular union sent back that they wanted to discuss some issues first before they, you know, agreed to do that. We have the right to do it because of the evergreen clause from last year. The contracts can roll over 1 year. So in some sense, they were the one that reached out with, and we began to talk about this as part of the negotiations, really. I just want to clarify that, that point.
Excuse me, how are the people who are eligible going to be notified? Is there going to be a special communication? Is it going to be the union doing it or the district?
The union is going to send out, if it was to be approved today, the union will send out a notification immediately after this meeting. The reason for the short notice is the fact that if we have many people that take advantage, we have to have time to hire.
Sure.
So we're under a little bit of pressure with this. And, you know, we don't know how many are going to take advantage. So we need some time, but they're going to send out an official notification to their members.
Do you anticipate that you would have to replace each person that takes advantage of this? Or are there some positions that we cannot, we can wait to fill?
I think there are two, which would be about $100,000 a piece right now that I don't. Just thinking right off the top of my head. Yeah.
So that's a savings as well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I have no objection to this. I mean, unless anybody's got any other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the MOA, if that's what you need.
Yeah, sounds like a win-win to me.
You know, Karen, I'll be honest with you. I didn't get to talk to you and I apologize, but I definitely wanted to hear your opinion of it. Working in the district as many years as you put into this district, I was interested in how you felt that this was going to work. So.
Well, honestly, it not only the dollar amount, I just think it's a gesture of appreciation for a lot of years worked. And you know, I mean, I think there's still hard feelings from years ago. And I just think these kinds of efforts show that, you know, there's a new sheriff in town and, you know, and we're all working together here and you know, again, it's a win-win. They win, we win. You know, why would you not? And I appreciate Jessica and Joel, you know, looking into this and pushing it further because I think it's going to go a long way in people's attitudes and how they feel about the district and the appreciation that we have for the years of service. I think it's
no, you're right,
right
Karen.
direction.
You know, and that's the thing. And you know, the financial impact. You know, there are certain things that we do, and this is one of them, where the financial impact is exponential. You know, and it just, I mean, the number of years that this will come into play for us. is more than just 1, 2, 3, 5 years, 10 years, so it does a lot for the district in providing flexibility. And it's not often that we can do something like this that also allows our employees to exhale and say,
I agree, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
thank you, thank God. So,
Yeah.
and if I may, I know, Charlie is the chair. I don't know if you can make the motion, but I'll defer
I don't know
to
who's
you.
running the meeting, Joel. That's the only reason. So
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
if
that's
Jessica
true. That's
started
true.
or not.
Yeah, no, that's true. So that's right. Jessica's running. So I guess if Charlie's got that motion, well, my point that I was going to make is
Yeah.
I would like to see Karen on that, on that second, as
Yeah.
a former teacher, just out of respect.
I do too.
I'll
Just-
second Charlie's
I just
motion.
have a question. The finance part that Craig just went over, was that supposed to have been sent to us this morning?
Yes, it was sent this morning around 7:30. I only know because I don't have any power at my house or internet, and I had to print it out at work, so. And I did send everyone a copy of the MOA. You guys should have it now in your emails.
Yeah, I got that, Jess. I'm just looking
Okay.
for the one that he sent out this morning.
I'm gonna send it again right now.
Okay, because I did not receive it either, Craig.
Okay.
Charlie, I didn't receive it neither.
And
That's why
Kathy-
I'm looking for these as they're going over them now
Kathy, did you say that the union was going to notify its members today? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Right.
So they'll be
Yes.
notified today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
They will be notified today.
Thank you.
May I add something? So when this document was sent to Mary Bud, she just came back with one request, and that was to add a line to the, so everybody knows, add a line to the MOA that says that this MOA doesn't affect anybody's rights in the collective bargaining agreement. In other words, something has been negatively modified.
Right.
So we would add that to the final copy before signature.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
She was very vital in this meeting. I thought she brought a lot to the table. So, and Craig, just so you know, I know you've been working your butt off, especially during your vacation. Thank you for everything that you did. A lot. You did a lot.
All good, all good.
Jeff, you're in charge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I
You
apologize.
did the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Right?
did.
She did. She
because
did.
They told me to do it, so I did it. Okay. So action item, we already had the motion. Consider and vote to approve a memorandum agreement regarding certified staff. So Charlie made the motion. Karen
I'll
seconded.
second that.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 All that opposed? Okay, motion passes. So I'm assuming right after this call, that will go right to them with that little add-on that Ben is gonna do. Next on the agenda is public comment. I have no idea, Charlie, what you do at this point. Sorry.
Is there any public comment? I don't think there is, but
I haven't
Any-
received anything.
I know that there's a
Oh.
link. I was gonna fill it out for myself, but I don't think this. Alfred, do you know? Nothing?
I do not. I'll look.
if Sharon doesn't have anything,
I didn't
Sharon
receive
doesn't-
anything.
Okay. Okay.
Move to
well,
adjourn.
Before we go, could I just
Yes.
thank everybody again? I appreciate all your efforts. And I just want to thank you again.
Karen,
Likewise,
coming-
and
Yeah,
go ahead. No,
Karen-
Jeff, go ahead.
oh, yeah. Coming from you, that means a lot because I will let you know that this was a lot of hard discussions, a lot of a couple good meetings and a lot of discussion. So coming from you, that means a lot to me. So I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
From somebody with a teaching degree that will never retire. I do thank you. And this team was amazing to work with, and I'm very grateful that we had that ability. So
awesome.
And Karen, I appreciate, your comments, about this and kind of referencing what, what you and some of your colleagues have had to, kind of work through, and how it, you said it, right? The life, decisions that were altered, and hopefully, your comments are representative of quite a few that can take advantage of this in our district. So
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
thank you and your colleagues for everything. So
Thanks.
Appreciate what everyone's doing right now. This is a tough time. You guys are doing great. So, okay, there's a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for meeting during my lunchtime. I do appreciate it. I know this is a tough time for everyone. I am sorry. So thank you again for doing that. And so I guess, Ben, at this point, we'll be notified by the union, or administration will, or Cheryl will be, somebody will be. Is that how that's going to work? Just not. Yes. Okay. All set. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Stay safe, Joe.
thanks.
Yes,
When are you
Joel, be
leaving?
safe.
Tomorrow.
When are you leaving?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
safe.
Stay safe.
Don't go to
Yeah, no, thank you.
Massachusetts.